One time for the city. Yeah, same aura as before. The smoke got blowing orange laws, meaning you pursue at your own cause.
All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Sunday evening. What is happening with the New York Knicks? That is the question that we are asking ourselves and that the fan base is asking after the Knicks go 1-3 this week and get pretty much washed in a lot of their losses, man. And the primary culprit, where's the D? Where's the Knicks defense? We're going to talk about that tonight on tonight's episode of Knicks Weekly, episode 141. CP the franchise, Alex Rotaros in the building. If you're a diehard Knicks fan, if you're a diehard basketball fan, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Home of 100,000 subscribers. We getting that silver plaque. Salute to our franchise channel members. Salute to the replay gang listening on the Monday, and a big Monday at that, because the Knicks will be headed into Detroit Rock City for a 12-round fight against the Detroit Pistons, man. Let's talk about it. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get into it, man. I don't know if did we coordinate the all black, man? Well, not really, because I got the blue snap. I
was about to say, man, you got the blue snap. Oh,
I was going to go in New York versus the world, though. I was going to go with that. You know what I mean? In stores now. Shop.KnicksFanTV.com. You see it. New era joint. You got yours. But last minute, I decided to, just switch it back to the standard blue, switch it back.
You want to go classic, man? I wanted to go
Classic.
in there like I'm about business, like just how the Knicks were when they were playing the Sixers. Doesn't matter who it was, man. They showed up in black saying, hey, we're about our business.
Yeah.
And that's how they need to be tomorrow, man, against Detroit.
Definitely going to need to be that way. But let's talk about business this past week, because the Knicks certainly did not handle business, bro. I mean, you had the come from behind win against the New Orleans Pelicans. Should you have been impressed or should you have been disgusted? You be the judge. But then you have the New Year's Eve massacre in San Antonio, where without Wemby, Knicks sporting a lead in the fourth quarter, 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. It's the Julian Champagnie show. And his name is Julian. They called us out for calling him his twin brother, Justin. The Julian Champagnie show, raining threes on the Knicks' head. They come back home New Year's Day, or after New Year's Day, rather, against a Trae Youngless Atlanta Hawks team and get embarrassed. And then they wrap up the week getting embarrassed by the Philadelphia 76ers, man. So, defense. What's your takeaways here?
Lack thereof. There was no defense this week, man. I mean, the way that they went out against San Antonio, where they let go of the rope in the fourth, just allowed Champagnie just to bomb away from three. Then you look at Atlanta just getting carved up left, right, and center. And then the same thing against Philadelphia, being carved up left, right, and center. There was no defense being played. And look, we talked about it on our last weekly show, man, is that this team is just susceptible to not guarding the three and transition defense. And when you play against young athletic teams, just like the Spurs, Hawks, Sixers, this is where the Knicks are going to struggle a bit. But the way that they went out, man, it showed, especially the last two games, it's like, did they even have enough fight to go out there, man? It looked like there was just something wrong. And as we discussed on last night's post game, after they lost to the Sixers, it's just showing that they miss Josh Hart, man. They miss a guy who brings that grit, that energy, and who's capable of offering so many different aspects that not many people on this team can offer. So, look, man, just it sucked just watching the Knicks just lose the way they did this week, but they got to learn to bounce back, man, because you got another young athletic team coming in, or they're going to them tomorrow.
Yeah, that is correct. In a battle for Eastern Conference supremacy. And I was asked this question. I was on earlier with our guy John Yastrzemski, and he was asking, what do you pinpoint as like the main culprit of the defense? I mean, when I'll ask you, the first question I was asked: are they tired? Is this an NBA Cup? Now you have people talking about this is an NBA Cup malaise or NBA Cup curse, if you will. Is it a case of tired legs here with this team, man?
I hope not, because if it is, then we got some big problems, man. I mean, we're not even, we're 35 games through the season. We're not even at the halfway point. So, look, Are they tired? Potentially. Look, it's a long season. I know that, there are the days where it's like, do you feel like showing up to work today? Like I get that, but I hope that it's not them being tired, man. There's a long season. They gotta stay competitive. And look, you got Detroit, who's number one in the East right now, and you got Boston, who is catching up as well. So if you're thinking about positioning in the standings right now, and we're getting to that point, in my opinion, where you really got to look out for who's around you. I don't think this is a time for them to relax. And for like whether or not they're tired or not, like you still got to overcome that exhaustion, man. There's no way that you can take nights off, man, against this team. Like you got an X on your back. Everybody's looking to attack you and show that they're better than you. There's no nights that you get to just, walk away and say, we'll get them tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm with you. I do believe, and somebody in the chat mentioned that they've hit a wall. I do believe that they've hit a wall after the Cup. They're 5-5 after the Cup, and the defense has been so dreadful that over that 5-5 stretch, they are the 25th ranked defense. The 25th ranked defense. So I do believe there is a bit of a malaise there. But as you said, your schedule's your schedule. You got to play who's in front of you. And there is no rest coming up for the next month and a half until All-Star. So there's no feeling bad for the Knicks here. They're going to have to simply play better. But I think right now, last week when we did Knicks Weekly, they were 15th ranked defense. Now they are 16th ranked, and it seems to keep getting worse. But one quick fix to me, bro, is maybe not a quick fix because they've had these issues last year. The communication breakdowns. Oh, hang tight. I just hang tight. Let me get it on you real quick. I had a little Zoom glitch. Salutes everybody in the chat. No
nice
CP.
thumbs up there.
Yeah, I know that's me. That's just me hanging out in the Matrix there. Hang tight. I'll throw it over to you, Al. Just go ahead and shout out some people in the chat while I get my reset on.
No doubt, no doubt. Salute to Knicks Nation, man. Salute to all our franchise channel members who are here today. Shout out to who we got in the chat, man. We got Bobby Elliott. Shout out to you. We got William J. Bowman, appreciate you. We got Fave 424, appreciate you as well. We got Ray Nobleza, appreciate you for coming through. We got John Talento in the building as always. I know we got Junior Caroma in here too. We got Wise Guy, shout out to Wise Guy. We got the KFTV DJ resident,
shout out Eric L.
DJ
Beats.
Eric L. Beats, man. Appreciate you for coming through as well. Who else we got, man? We got Damian Tucker as well. Appreciate all you guys, man, for coming through on tonight for another episode of Knicks Weekly.
Somebody in the chat said, Lank in the chat said, speaking of communication issues. Yeah, so there I go. So had a little Zoom glitch. But my opinion is the defense as bad as it looks? I don't think so. I think that they're just in a rough patch. However, these are some of the same defensive issues that we've seen in years past. And so, one of the things that they can look to clean up, man, is that their communication, bro, has been brutal. You look at that Philly game, the amount of times these guys are getting exposed where they're just not reacting quick enough. And where the play breakdowns, the Paul George, the pin down screens for Paul George, 2 plays in a row, the constant empty side pick and roll where they just can't solve it and they're steps slow. The Julian Champagnie situation where you had 3 straight possessions of those left elbow threes where the Knicks were not closing him out quick enough. They were literally retreating. I mean, those little things right there, if they clean some of those things up, you can help compensate for the weaknesses that you have when you throw Brunson and Towns out there, the weaknesses that you have in terms of the lack of athleticism, the lack of size when it comes to the guards as well. Like, they have to be able to, shore up the communication first and foremost, bro. Because that, to me, has been a big part of this problem.
Yeah, no, look, communication is a big part for transition defense and just defense in general. But, we're not asking for this team to be a defensive stalwart team either. We're not looking for them to be, the number one, number two ranked defense in the NBA. I don't expect them to be that, but what you are expecting for them is to be at least top 10 just based on what our guy Law Murray has written, man, where you need to have both a top 10 offense and defense if you're going to be a serious championship contender team. And they were at that earlier in the season for a hot second and then dropped down to 15 and now, as you mentioned, 16. So they're going in the wrong direction. They got to figure out how to bounce back, whether it's communication, whether it's just effort. Because some nights, man, it's also just effort. Like a lot of about defense is just effort. You're just not like there's no like, oh, is there a magic elixir just to get them even better? It's, are you willing to compete on that side of the court for 48 minutes? Are you willing to do that? Because it is grueling. Not everybody's built to go do that, and especially today's NBA where a lot of it's leaned offensive heavy. Like guys would rather just score and then preserve themselves for the postseason. But in this type of instance, the work that you're putting in defensively is to get you ready for that title run. So that way you're already built that conditioning. And that's what this Knicks team should be focused on, man. Building that conditioning so that way they can compete against anybody in that postseason. So they just got to get put in that effort, man, and just be willing to compete on a night-to-night basis. And like I said, they don't have to – no one's asking for this team to be a defensive stalwart, but you got to be better than what you're doing.
Yeah, got to be way better, man. That's for sure. They have to be way better. And again, they in that loss to Philadelphia, you heard guys on the Cowboys just talk about their effort also has to be better, which means running guys off the line and not, retreating when guys like Julian Champagnie are hoisting up their 8th, 9th, and 10th three-pointer from the same exact spot. Like, you've got to be dialed in, man. And to me, these guys are just really just not connected. Another area of concern, especially when it comes to the perimeter defense or lack thereof, look, we got to take Cap to task, man. Because if we're looking at the numbers right now, the numbers say that his defense on and off numbers are one of the worst it's been since he's been here. He's now at, if we take a look at this, salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. If you look at Cap and take a look at the on and off numbers, this year, the Knicks are giving up plus 12.7 points per 100 possessions more when he's on the court. That's almost 6 points more than it was last year. He's in the number 2%. He's in the second percentile. That's brutal. And the one thing is that, yes, when we look at any type of metrics, you want to understand context. Well, watch the games. There's your context. He's a sitting duck out there, and they are going at him. It's a problem, bro.
Let me ask you this for Brunson. Is it concerning to you that those numbers are bad considering how soft the schedule was at the beginning of the season? Does that make you more concerned? Or are you thinking that he's pacing himself and then he's about to dial it up?
Look, I think it's difficult for somebody like him who has to take charge of this team's offense on most nights still. Yes, it is equal opportunity, but you still need him leading the charge and setting the tone. And then expect it. Look, being a good two-way player is very difficult, man. And I'm not going to shoot him bail, but it's just the reality that it takes a lot out of you. And this is why teams are trying to run him raggedy, running him through screens. But you're also seeing when he's not being run through screens, his closeouts have been bad. And last night, where were you going to, I saw a question out there on Twitter, and they were spot on. Where were you going to hide him last night against the Sixers? And so you get the Edgecombe matchups, and Edgecombe's he's taking it right to him, cooking him. It's tough. It's tricky, man. I look at Monday against the Pistons. Like, where are you gonna hide him in that lineup? You gonna tell me you're gonna try to put him on a Ron Holland? Okay, but then when the shot goes up and Ron Holland's going 100 miles an hour straight to the hoop. Is Cap going to be on a string to box out? And, those are the things. it exposes him. It's tricky, man.
It's tricky. But how concerned are you for Brunson, man? And like, because here's the thing, like we've known Brunson is not the greatest, and part of it is due to just like his stature. Like he is just, because he is the smallest guy on the court. Like he's not going to be this guy who's just a lockdown defender. And to me, too, like how many point guards are in the league that are actually two-way players, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, it's easier to hide a point guard than it is to hide another player. Like it's harder to hide a wing. It's harder to hide a center defensively if you're like, because center is your last line of defense. Wing, typically that's one of your better primary, or not primary, but your perimeter defenders. Point guards, like they hide, let's just go down the list, man. They'd hide Steph Curry. They'd hide Dame. You'd hide Brunson. You hide any of those guys, man. LaMelo Ball, if that team was actually good, you'd try to hide him. There's a lot of point guards that you're trying to hide. So, like, I would say that even though he does have to pick it up defensively, his offensive production typically outweighs what he does. And this is not to come slack. He needs to be better. But I'm kind of looking at other areas where this team can, like, get better defensively. So I'm going to look at the wings when they're not playing well. I'm going to look at Bridges. I'm going to look at OG. I'm going to look at Cat when he can play better defensively, because those positions are primo positions defensively. You can't hide any of those guys. They have to go out there and they have to compete. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
JJ from Brooklyn, spot on. It's not just about him being small. He's late on the rotations. Like those little things. We understand that there are physical limitations when it comes to keeping up with the quicker guards or the bigger, taller guards shooting over him. We understand that. But still, giving it a better... We've seen Cap give better efforts, especially when it comes to rotations and closeouts. We've seen it in those accountability games. We might see it on Monday. We might see it on Monday against Detroit. On more, on his toes type of defensive effort from Captain Clark. Well, you'll probably see that. A much better effort. But he's got to... That's what he's got to give. And as of late, it's just not there. It's just not there. And again, to see this team going into a zone against the Atlanta Hawks with no point guard, to kind of tell you where the state of the perimeter defense or lack thereof. Then the Cat situation. It's one thing to say, all right, from a rim protector standpoint, okay, he hasn't been bad. But when he's out in space, he can be a space ghost. We saw it last year. Let's go back to Golden State. Drop coverage on Steph Curry pick and roll. And the entire bench is like, Cat, you got to be up on the level. And two straight plays, he gets buried on three-pointers because he's sitting on the baseline with the camera guy. Same thing here, where you've got they're running the empty side pick and roll. They run the play several times. One time the OG, because they didn't communicate, and Cat gets sealed, and OG's chasing Paul George. So then in the next play, OG says, all right, you jump out to Paul George. I'm going to tag the roll man. And Cat still gets sealed on the screen. He's looking at the ball go over his head to Paul George and runs into a Sixer screen. Like, it's those type of things, man. You got to wake up.
But that's what I'm saying, like, and this is not to excuse Brunson. Brunson's got to be better defensively, but you know how hard it is to hide that?
Right.
Like, your last line of defense, you know how hard that is to do, man? Like, if you're going to have a center that is not your best defender, that means your point guard has to be like SGA, man, or has to be like Cade, where they can just hold their own. And that's just, there's not many guys like that. That's why when you look at the point guard position, say, hey, they're a two-way player. Not many guys that you can count throughout the league that could do that.
Yeah.
Which is, once again, I go back to, you got to go like the other guys. If you're going to talk about Brunson's defense, not excusing him, once again, has to be better, giving effort. But the other positions have to be better. That's why they're keeping Mitch, right? Mitch is that good defensively, but that's why you rely on Mitch. That's why when you lose a guy like Josh Hart, you start to look at the wings and the competitiveness that competitive drive that drops when he's not there, or even when OG's out. Like you need all those guys, man. You need all
Yeah.
those guys just because the defense starts to take a hit. So guys just got to be. Look, man, this defense is going to be the talking point all season long, going into the postseason. Can this team do it for 4 rounds?
Four
Can they
rounds.
compete for 4 rounds? Can they just be, and not necessarily be great, but can they be passable? That's the question because, yeah, we've seen them be passable, but we haven't seen them be passable all 4 rounds. Even
Yeah.
3 rounds, man. Against Indiana, they were last
They
season.
were
That was
cooked.
brutal to watch.
They were cooked. Well, they're gonna have to be to win this thing, and there are no silver bullets. A lot of their core are who they are. Hopefully, they can get an upgrade for Yabusele on the margins, but that surely won't be a silver bullet. There aren't too many guys out there to be had like that, when especially when you're dealing with bargain basement prices. So gotta get lucky. Gotta find a rabbit out of a hat, and hopefully they can use that Yabusele contract to do so. Did it seem like as the week drew on, especially after that New Year's Eve loss to the Spurs, where Diawara had been trending upwards and McCullough had been trending upwards, but then it seemed like as the week wore on, did it seem like Brown's trust in them kind of waned a little bit? Because when you think about the Knicks, losing the athlete battle, if you will, I look at those two guys as probably two of their top 5 athletes on the team. But I do wonder from a Brown perspective, is he not trusting them offensively, especially when the Knicks go up against teams that are locking them up? Like I thought Philadelphia did a great job last night defensively. I did. I thought the Hawks did as well. So I'm wondering if Brown's trust is waning a little bit. What do you think?
I don't know if it's necessarily trust. I think he has a different level. It might be trust, but I don't really think it's trust. I think it's just a different. I don't know what it is. I think it's. I'm trying to think about the right word for it because he's still playing these guys.
Right.
I think there's just a different expectation for these games and what he's looking for, and I don't think that they're ready to deliver on that yet. Just from an off, like defensively, it's one thing to compete. Like that gets you on the court as a rookie. That gets you on the court as any young player. If you can hold your weight defensively, you're going to get some playing time. Offensively, if it's not there, I think for Mike Brown, it's just hard to leave somebody out there that can't contribute offensively because then you're asking for the rest of the team to shoulder that load and saying, "Hey, we're gonna, pick up," and now you're playing what 4v5 offensively. Whereas, if someone like Diawara, who, we always complain about, not necessarily complain, but like we always discuss like, hey Josh, you gotta take those open shots, right? Like you can't just pass it up, you can't just drive. Someone like Diawara, man, it's not even that level because you at least know that Josh can give you some offense in different ways, especially getting downhill, maybe a turnaround jumper where the shot clock's dwindling down. I'm not expecting that from Diawara, even though he had that good game, right, against the Pelicans. He's just not there yet to give you that on a consistent basis. Same thing with McCullough. He's not there yet to give that on a consistent basis. And so I think for Mike Brown, where, yeah, he's looking for defense in these matchups, if you can't give anything offensively, you're just putting more strain on that offense. I don't think he wants to do that. So it's not necessarily a trust thing. I think it's more of a balance thing. I think it's more of like, just balancing the levels of what you have there on the court.
My guy Daniel Bolsajor, he's throwing a tinfoil kufi on. He's thinking that the Yabusele uptick in minutes could be
Oh boy,
a management edict. Try to get him out bad here, trade. He's got a little trade flu thing going on yesterday. The other day he went down with a little back. I don't know. He's all over the place. Hey, whatever it takes, man, to get him a change of scenery. I'm all for it. So if that is the motivation here, it could be. I'm not against it. Whatever it takes, man.
That is a...
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's a lost cause if you're trying to do that, man. I think everybody in the league is like, all right, man, we just know it's not a fit there. Like, and look, if it's the system that's not fitting him well, even playing him while he doesn't necessarily fit the system, it's just not going to help him. I don't think it's going to raise any trade value. So if it is that, I think it's a failed attempt just trying to recoup your losses on an offseason signing. Like, how much better is he going to look in Mike Brown's system that he didn't look better like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Unless he just overnight like figures everything out.
What do you guys think in the chat? Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Knicks Weekly, episode 141. Hey, remember that all of our KFTV content, most of you guys are watching on YouTube right now. You guys are watching on Facebook and Twitter X. Remember that we are available in audio podcast format, so no reason to miss it. If you have to, stick a bookmark in the video side, you could always catch us on all major podcast platforms, and make sure you guys are leaving us a 5-star rating. Okay, Matthew James on the Facebook side says, no Josh Hart, that is the issue. Al definitely mentioned that. Carlos says, Yabusele. Brown needs to stop at the Yabusele minutes. He's a liability at this point. Jonas Domingue, he's concerned about the matchup against Detroit on Monday. We're going to talk about that as well, so stay tuned. Leo Carvajal, let's go. Salute to Leo in here. Okay, we did get a $10 super chat, Al. Let's shout them out. Salute. Okay, we got a $10 super chat from Jeffrey Glynn, 9657. Shout out to Jeffrey. It says 10 games in, 15 days, and a tough back-to-back is very important context. This is a veteran playoff tested team that has shown up for the big games this season. Don't panic, Knicks fans. We got this. All right, well, Jeffrey's looking at it glass half full, Al. I mean, we are second in the East after all. So, yeah, we can temper the panic a little bit. But this is just one of the many points of the season where we just have to have a come to and see how does this team overcome some adversity. They go through adversity every single year. Every year. So, hey, remember last year they can't beat the elite teams. They can't beat Detroit. They can't beat Boston. They can't beat the Cavs. They can't beat these guys. That was the thing. Now this is another thing here. Defense stinks. 3-game losing streak. But nevertheless, they are number 2 in the East. The problem is, Alex, the Boston Celtics are on their heels. Only a half game back of the Knicks. Jalen Brown has been talking spicy. He's chirping. He's not feeling all the Jalen Brunson love. He doesn't like that Cap is winning the battle of the Jalens, whether it's All-Star or the MVP ladder. And now Jalen Brown, he's taking it out on the court. 50-piece last night for the Cavs. I mean, for the Celtics. And he's got them within a half a game of us. So it's going to start tightening up, Al. Raptors 2.5 games back. Philly 3 games back. And 2 wins. And 2 wins over the Knicks for the season series. Remember the season series, gang. 3 games back with more to go.
Now remember, there's one more game against Philly on the second night of a back-to-back.
On the second night of a back-to-back.
Nasty work by the league.
Nasty. Yeah, it's like how they did us with Cleveland last year. So, hey, remember those season series, man. It's time to tighten up. They're 1-1 against the Celtics. And it looks like they're gonna need all those wins. The way Jalen Brown is playing, they're saying Tatum might be coming back. So, hey, let's not count out Boston. Now you got Philadelphia. If they're full strength when this thing is all said and done. So all of that, the East is junk. Kind of went out the window when you got the Pistons in first, the Knicks, Celtics threatening. Hey, Raptors are still hanging around. The Sixers. Who are the Magic? We'll see. They just lost Jalen Suggs again, but Anthony Black is stepping his game up. Miami always hangs around with the Spoelstra factor. Cleveland, even in the 8th seed. Who knows? So 1 through 8 is looking like a dogfight right now, Al.
It really is, man. And then, look, if they get rid of Trae on Atlanta, that team's going to be better. So
Right. Hawks will be better once they dump Trae Young. That's right.
And you got Milwaukee, man, who's like they're trying to figure things out, man. They're slowly climbing back into this thing. They're 5 games away from being 500 at this point. So the East is tough. The East is not a slouch of a conference as it once was when LeBron was with Cleveland, and it was just them and Boston all the time, and so, or even Toronto. So it's Knicks got to get ready, man. Knicks got. Are you starting to look at the standings now, CP? Are you now checking in on the standings?
Yeah. I'm looking, man. I'm looking, and because now, as you get into this second part of the season, like I said, season series, so you're gonna have more games against Boston. You have more of the Philly games. The Orlando and the Heat games are out. They're 2 up on Cleveland, which is good. How many up on Toronto? Have they did they lose to Toronto this year? I don't think they lost to them yet.
No, they haven't lost to Toronto.
Okay, so that's a good thing. That's 3. I think 3. I think they won 3 on Toronto already. They had 1 at the Garden when RJ didn't play. They beat them in the quarterfinal NBA Cup. And was there another one? How many Raptors games? 2 or 3 did they play so
Just
far?
see 2 right now. Let me go through.
If you just say 2, then it's just the quarterfinal and the 1 matchup.
It's November.
I thought it was 3.
They only played twice.
All right, so 2 up. 2 up on the Raptors. Okay. Oh, they said the Suns beat OKC. You just never know, man. You never know.
Dylan Brooks, man, making a name for himself.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, we still are in second place in the East. So, things can all change on Monday, Al. The question is, what are your keys to this game, man? What are you thinking about? This is the matchup everybody's been waiting to see. Pistons certainly circle this matchup. Now, they played today, so no excuses. Now you got a team, they just played, and they beat the Cavs on the road. But they played. Knicks coming in with some rest. No excuses not to win this game. How do they win it, man? What do you think, bro?
First and foremost, controlling the boards, man. Rebounding battle. And when you look at the just stats on the season, number 3 when it comes to rebounding, Detroit Pistons. Number 4, New York Knicks. And when I get down, as we talked about yesterday, offensive rebounding, same thing. Detroit number 3, Knicks number 4. Controlling the glass is going to be big against this team, man. They play physical. They try to work the possessions. So they have to. Whoever wins that battle, most likely is going to win the game. Like, that's just how I feel. Same thing as I said against when the Knicks played against the Spurs. It's going to be the same thing against Detroit. That's going to be number 1 for me. Number 2, well, the big thing, who's controlling the paint? Points in the paint. Pistons right now are number 2 in the league, averaging 58 points in the paint right now. So they like to attack down. They like to get downhill. They like to work the block, pick and roll with Jalen Duren. Is he even playing for tomorrow?
He's supposed to be out.
Okay, so no Duren. So most likely Stewart's gonna Beef Stew's gonna be playing, right?
Yeah.
Isaiah Stewart.
They start with Reed and then bring Stewart off the bench. Paul Reed.
Interesting. Nevertheless, I'm gonna be looking at how they battle in the paint, man. And then, look, Knicks, they're not necessarily the team that likes to work the paint. They're 22nd right now. They average about 48 points in the paint. But if you're talking about winning boards, controlling the paint, that's another area for me. Second chance opportunities is going to be another one, just because the Knicks, who are currently 3rd in the league right now, are averaging 17 second chance points. Pistons averaging 17 as well. That's going to be another battleground in this game, man. So, and a lot of this comes back to controlling the glass. So, rebounding, second chance opportunities, points in the paint, because points in the paint sometimes just leads after getting that rebound and seeing if Mitch or Cat could go back up, even Josh Hart. These are things that I'm looking at in this matchup against Detroit, because this will be a physical game. And whoever gets to control that, especially if shots aren't falling from behind the arc, I feel like that's going to be dictating who wins this matchup. But what do you think, man? Where are you looking at this game? What do you think are the battlegrounds?
Yeah, I like the rebounds, because they won't have Duren, but the Knicks will be without Hart. But Detroit's guards and wings rebound very well. So we talked about Ron Holland. He had 8 rebounds in that win over the Cavs. Ausar Thompson, he's another one. He'll come flying in for offensive rebounds. And so the Knicks have to be ready for the 50-50 battles, because that is where the Pistons do their great work. And that is why they are up there with the Knicks in offensive rebounding percentage this year, which has been a big leap from last year. So, the Knicks have to certainly be on guard for that. I'm looking at the battle of the guards, man. We're speaking of guards. I'm looking at the battle of the guards. Cade is going to have his numbers, but how about Dennis Jenkins? 25 points in their win over the Cavs. 5 for 5 from downtown. And somehow he's been in and out of the lineup, but every time he's in there, he's been a positive or way better. And so we talked about the perimeter defense, the point of attack defense, and in particular their transition defense. You have to find him and run him off the three-point line. This is their version of Julian Champagnie. You got to run him off that line. Another sleeper, you know this name, Marcus Sasser. Don't sleep on Marcus Sasser. Don't sleep on, that's another name that can get busy on the Knicks off the bench. So I'm looking at Brunson, Kolek, Clarkson, Deuce. Got to man up. Got to. Look, the Cade thing, that's OG and McCall responsibility. Yeah, they're gonna try to get Brunson matched up on him in the pick and roll situations. It's gonna be by committee. He's gonna do his damage. You expect it. But with them being shorthanded, you can't allow the Jenkins, the Sassers, the Hollands to kill you. You can't do that. They absolutely can't do that. So I'm looking at the guard play, the rebounding battle. The Knicks taking care of the ball, because that has also been up as of late. You look at last night, Saturday night's loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. 16 turnovers lead to 25 sixer points. Detroit is not only an opportunistic team, but they will get out in transition and kill you for points that way. Don't give them extra opportunities to kill you, because they're going to be pressuring the ball. The tape is out on the Knicks. We saw what the Hawks did. We saw what the Sixers did. So the Pistons are going to be looking to get ferocious, get physical with the Knicks, and turn those into points. They got to take care of the ball. And those would be my 3 keys, man. The boards, the guard play, and the turnover battle. For sure. I also like your points in the paint comment, because it's another area where the Knicks have been getting gashed. So what's going to give? Are they going to allow Detroit to have their way here? And conversely, a Detroit team with beef stew in the middle and good perimeter guard play, if the Knicks are not able to get to the basket, then they're going to have to knock down their shots. They're going to have to be efficient from beyond the arc. So we'll have to see what gives there.
Just pulling up the numbers right now, seeing how the Knicks were over the last 4 games shooting from the perimeter. Let's take a look to see how they were doing, because they were on a hot streak. They are shooting 45% from downtown. Sorry, no, wrong thing. Sorry. They're averaging 45 attempts from downtown. They're shooting 38% from downtown. So they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job knocking down their threes. Mm-hmm. We'll get at like OG and Bridges, who've cooled off a bit from downtown, to step it up, because they're going to help create that space for Brunson and Cat. But this should be a good matchup this should be in the Knicks' favor for them to knock down threes. And then when you also look at who's going to be playing for Detroit, I'm just doing a little quick research over here. Yeah. Tobias is out. Duren is out. Karis LeVert, TBD. He didn't play against the Cavs today, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. So if you don't have Tobias, if you don't have Duren, so they're still going to be a tough team, but they won't be at full strength. So maybe there's an opportunity for the Knicks to get one in Detroit, and then take a lead on the season series.
Yeah. Look, the opportunity is there to take this game. As I said, Detroit coming in second night of a back-to-back. that's even more reason for the Knicks to go out there and out-effort them. Just as a start, a bare minimum. Don't get out-efforted from a team that's coming home on the second night of a back-to-back. Because then we really got questions that need to be answered. That should be all right, man. It's just gut check time, man. It's just gut check time, bro.
Hey, Knicks need to go through some adversity, man. That's how, it helps them for the postseason run.
Get smacked in the mouth a little bit. I don't mind it, man. I don't mind it. So you got Hart and Shamet potentially on the way back soon, hopefully. We'll see. We shall see. Because this week, the Knicks will be at Detroit, then taking on a Clippers team that has rebounded. Despite losing to the Celtics on Saturday, this Clipper team has rebounded tremendously from being one of the worst teams in the league to being one of the hottest. So they're coming to town. You know it's going to be a tough matchup with Kawhi and the boys. And then the Knicks will embark on their West Coast trip. They'll wrap up the week headed out to Phoenix. And then the West Coast trip will be, let's just scroll down here, at Phoenix, at Portland, at Sacramento, and then the back-to-back, you got to go to the Golden State. You play the Warriors second night of a back-to-back. Fantastic. So there's your 4-game West Coast trip. And then, boom, the following week, you're right back in Philly again for Game 3.
This team is getting no rest.
No rest. No rest.
January is jam-packed full of action, man.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, within that time period that you're talking about, the Knicks are on national TV 4 times. So, tomorrow against Detroit, they'll go against Golden State later on the 15th. Then you're going to have them against Dallas. Not necessarily worried about Dallas, although Cooper Flag has been playing very well. And then you got the Sixers again, man. This time, at least you get a break in between.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
So it's gut check time, man. So with that being said, what's your prediction for this week, man?
Let's see how many games they got. So we Sunday starts a new week, you said, right?
Yes.
All right, so we're not including.
No, Sunday wraps up the week.
Sunday wraps up the week. Okay,
yeah, wrap up on Sunday.
So then we're including Portland
Phoenix.
in on this week.
No. That Portland game is
Sunday.
Oh, it is. Okay, let's include it. Let's go with it.
All right. I think they beat Portland. I think they beat Phoenix. I'm going to go positive, man. I'm going to go positive. They're going 3-1 this week.
Okay. I'll go 2-2.
2-2.
I'll go 2-2. I think that Clipper game could be tough, and the Portland game. I think they get the win on Monday against Detroit. But I think 2-2. I think they slowly get themselves out of this. It's going to be a rough patch, a little turbulence, if you will. Can't be getting all giddy out the window. They gotta earn this now, man.
They're not playing Josh Giddey. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. All right, man. Well, great show. We'll be back
Right back
Monday.
at you, bro.
Same time, same place. We'll have the CK2K play-by-play. And then post-game live. The biggest matchup of the season. We'll see how they come out of it, man.
Now, Pistons fans, man, they're ready to talk about this game, and because you got the nonsense now that the Knicks lost to Philly twice. Oh, is Maxey the best guard?
Yeah,
in the East?
they're chirping now. So now Philly, they throw Maxey in the whole Brunson Cade debate. Yeah, Jalen Brown somewhere hating on everything.
Everyone's
in
their
man.
feelings.
I like it. Let's add some sauce to it. Jalen Brown's in the mix on social media. I do like it. I like the banter. It makes the season more interesting to me.
Hey,
So
these guys got egos, man. They want to compete and feel like they're the best.
yeah. Al, who had a better close to the football season, the Giants or the Jets?
Oh my God, man.
Who closed out the season in style?
Whoo! By style, you mean who looked like bums?
I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore, man. I don't even know what to say what I watched. I'm just not surprised, man. You know?
I'm never surprised.
Surprised. Never surprised.
Well, they're both awful.
Yeah.
I did the pleasure of tuning in for a little bit. Saw this thing went quickly south against Buffalo, and I was like, all right, man.
See you next year. See you at camp.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I watched and I said, I can't believe we're doing it again. You know, halftime, Jerry Jones said, hey, I'll see y'all at the draft. I'm going to throw this back up in here and see what it do. Dak, you head to Cancun early. And the Giants, I said this on Twitter, I said, Jerry Jones is punting for the draft. Meanwhile, the Giants is out here playing for the wild card, as usual, on week 18. Could have had the number 1 pick, and now we got the number 5 pick. Now we got all these people trying to justify it, you know, the old players. And listen, man, I'm not expecting the players to go out. The players don't tank. The players and the coaches are fighting for their lives, and in football, that can be very short. I don't blame them for going hard. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, is it helping this team? No. They could have had the number 1 pick, bro. Lucky they didn't drop to 7th, which was a possibility. Every single year, they ruin their draft chances, bro. Every year.
Hey, at least it's not like the Jets, who are never going to get the number 1 overall pick, man. We're at number 2 yet again.
You just cannot make it up, bro. Every year, they tank the draft the other way.
Oh, my God. Now, let's see. Did the Jets get an interception? No, they did not get an interception today.
Yeah.
So you know what that means? An entire season. And they brought in a cornerback. As a head coach.
That's brutal.
Don't get me wrong. I like Aaron Glenn. I think he's a good coach. I think he's the right coach. What you need to turn the culture around for the Jets. The roster was just awful.
Yeah,
absolutely awful. You know what's even crazier? Before Sauce got traded, the Jets only won 1 game. After Sauce got traded to the Colts only won 1 game.
You can't make it up, man. You know what's even crazier? This was some Tommy Smokes on Twitter. The Giants won today, so they are 8-30 in their last 38 games. 4 of those 8 wins will have been in week 17 or 18 when they were long eliminated from the playoffs and only playing for draft positioning. That's what I said. Bro, I turned on the game and I said I had a deja vu moment. I thought it was Groundhog's Day. I said, bro, didn't I just watch this last year? Didn't I just watch this the year before that? Ooh. Can't make it up.
That is bad, man. That is bad. That is crazy. Oh,
crazy,
man, that is crazy. The NFL is just so... This is why I love football, man.
Yeah.
Because things can be like... The Colts, think about it. The Colts were riding high, man. 8-1. They were 8-1.
Danny Dimes.
They're 8-9, bro. They're 8-9.
Wow.
Thing reminds me of the Jets, man. When we had Brett Favre. That's that type of record. God.
Yeah. Oof. Well, lights out.
We'll see you in the draft, my man.
See you at the draft, my man. You know, we'll let you know what we come up with. But hey, lights out for New York football. New York baseball, been dark. New York Knicks, we all we got, baby. It's all about the orange and blue from here on out, Al. It's here on out. It's all about the orange and blue, man.
You saw what someone said? Someone said, did the Knicks do a deal with the devil? Or did New York do a deal with the devil for all other sports to be bad, but we got to rely on the Knicks?
Fine with me. Fine with me, man.
Yep.
Fine
I'm
with
right
me.
there.
I'll take the sacrifice, man. So, yeah, man. Good show, my guy. We'll catch up tomorrow, same time, same place. You guys know the vibes, man. Salute to the replay gang. Like, share, subscribe. Salute to the Facebook gang. Have a great week. Let's go Knicks, man. Just a little adversity. The house will rise again. We'll be all right, man. Peace.